Hello everyone and welcome back to my SwiftUI video. Now in this video I will talk about how to make an mixed reality application on VisionOS using SwiftUI. Now this is very exciting because VisionOS is this brand new platform, and if you start building for it, there are only these couple of hundreds apps I believe so far. So if you do it now, your app has a great chance to stand out. So what's showing on the screen here is actually one of the app I indie developed and of course published on the VisionOS platform too. So this is called Sora, which is a Fediverse application, for Mastodon, Bluesky, Misskey. And what's unique is I think this is one of the only 3 Mastodon apps on the VisionOS App Store, and I definitely believe this is the only Bluesky application, that supports VisionOS. So let me show you what I mean. So I want to show you how to build an app that has an interface. So as you can see, this is a UI. It's just like your application, but it has like a transparent background. So it is adapted to the VisionOS. As you can see here on the left side, I have the tab bar, and on the bottom, I have what's called an ornament. So this is using the native VisionOS SDK. So it's different from if you have an app that works for iPad, it usually works for VisionOS, but if you run that on VisionOS, even in the simulator, you see it has a opaque background and doesn't really work for VisionOS. But this app, the unique point is if you build it for VisionOS, you can support multiple windows. So for example, I can put multiple windows in my room. So this is something unique to the VisionOS application. And also I can have these very cool elements floating in the user space. Also, if you can notice, there's a floating character. So this is where you can place 3D contents in the user space. So for example, in the Sora app for VisionOS, I have a feature where you can pick your spirit animal to be displayed in your space. So why not let's try another one. So let's try this very cute robot here. Oh, awesome. Look how cute it is. So this is a simulator. It is included in the latest official release of Xcode. But if you run this in your on the real headset, you should be able to look around it, and it just looks like it's in the user's space. All right. So yeah, I will show you how to do so, how to build an app with an interface, that you can show in the user space with also a 3D character, that's displayed in the user space. Let's get started. Here, I have a very basic SwiftUI application. As you can see, it's a hello world, and it's just very basic. So just to show you, I'm gonna run this application in the VisionOS platform. So as you can see right now, by default, it shows Apple Vision Pro designed for iPad. So you don't want that, because if you run that right now, it will run as a compatible application which doesn't have the unique features for the VisionOS platform. So if we check this app right now, alright, as you can see here, this is not really what we want. It has a white background. It is not transparent. It is transparent when I move it, but it's not transparent when it's displayed there. So it has this weird orientation. It kind of reminds me of when you run an iPhone only application on iPad. It just looks very bad. We don't want that. So in this video, I will tell you how to do it the proper way. So the first thing we're gonna do is go to this top page and remove this Apple Vision design for iPad target, and we are gonna add Apple Vision. So basically click on enable. So what this does is you're building for the native VisionOS platform. Now there's another trick that if you try to upload this app to the App Store right now, you see it still says any VisionOS device designed for iPad. There's a small setting here in build settings, and if you go to base SDK, so if you're uploading for the VisionOS platform, I usually change this to VisionOS, and what happens is that now it will say any VisionOS device ARM64. So do remember to turn it back if you are uploading for the iOS platform, but this is what I prefer to do because this will make your app be based on the VisionOS SDK. So if we run this app again without modifying any of the codes in our content view, it will look better because now it's using the VisionOS SDK, the native SDK to build for this app. Sorry, I'm not. I don't want to run this on the iPhone 15 Pro. I want to run on the Vision Pro. All right, so I'm gonna close that. All right, awesome. Do you see that? So now that's a native Hello World application for VisionOS. So do you remember that if you turn your app, existing iOS app, if you do the same to add the VisionOS target, it's not going to compare usually the first time because a lot of APIs are only available for the iOS side and not the VisionOS side. So for example, my app uses a lot of these haptic engines, the UI impact, so this is not compatible. So you need to circumvent around that. So but in this app, in this video, we're going to talk about how to build a brand new app. So now we have the Hello World application, and basically I can do everything I would like. So for example, I can make this icon larger, so I can add a foreground style or foreground color. This is deprecated, so foreground style tile, and then I can add a frame to it. So for example, 100 Hello World on VisionOS, right? So if I run this app again, you can just use your regular SwiftUI code to write this application. So and you can see that it works. Now, what's interesting is that you see this glass background, it's actually applied by default. Now, here's what's interesting. So there's this modifier called a glass background effect modifier, which I can define display mode. So if I set this to never, and if I go to this app and set this window style, so in this window style, I can set to be automatic, I can set it to be plain, and I can set it to be volumetric. So volumetric means if you display like a 3D, a view with a 3D object. So now here we set it to plain because this is a 2D view, right? So in the next part of the video, we will also add a a 3D view into this application. So if we set this one, Windows style plain, and if we set the glass background effect to be never, what will happen is that when we run this app in the simulator, you can see the background is now no longer showing on this in the user's view. So this just becomes your content on the SwiftUI view. What's more is that I can also add. So let me add some spacing here. What's interesting here is I can add a state variable to control whether the glass background effect of the VisionOS is shown. So for example, I can call is glass background shown, and this is a bool value, which is maybe true by default. So what I can do here is I can add a toggle, glass background, and then I can set this is on variable. So here I can do a check. So if it's shown, I will set it to always, otherwise I will set it to never. So if I run this app right now, we will see that we have the switch. So if I turn it off, the glass background disappeared. If I turn it on, the background returned. So this is how you can control, your background display, for your application in the VisionOS platform. All right, so let's get to the exciting part. Now, to display 3D models, we first need to include it in our application. There is a brand new format which is called a Realy Hit package. So I can display on the Xcode, on the top left of the system corner, I click on Open Developer Tools, and I can open this tool called Realy Hit Composer Pro, right? So if I click on it, this will show, so it's called the Realy Hit content. Now you can see these are the 3D contents from my different Realy Hit or VisionOS projects. I can click on create new project, and I'm gonna name it, demo assets, right? I'm gonna put it in my downloads folder. I'm gonna save this project. Here we go. So this will open an editor. So in here, you can manage all of your 3D assets. So it does come with this default thing. So I'm gonna remove this. Actually, I'm gonna remove this. So I'm gonna add this T-Rex asset here from my system. It's a USDZ asset. So now I have a T-Rex. As you can see in this small window on the right, I can preview it. It comes with the animation preview. So you can see the materials and the meshes, etc. So I'm just gonna include this. So what you just created is actually a Swift package. Because if you open this folder, on your system, this is the one I just created. It has a Reality Kit Composer Pro, and it has a package.swift. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go here to my project page. I'm gonna go to package dependencies, and I'm gonna import this local package of the 3D assets I just created. So I'm gonna select downloads. I'm gonna go into this demo assets. And right in here, where it has the package.swift file, I'm gonna click this add package button. And I'm gonna make sure to add it to the target so my demo VisionOS application can use the assets within this library. So I'm gonna click on add package. All right, so it's here, and I should be able to use these assets within my project. Now, as you can see here, it has our 3D object right here. All right, so next what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna have a function that helps me to load the asset from this Reality Kit package. So let's get started with our I'm gonna organize my folder a little bit. So I'm gonna create a model folder with a Swift file called assets loading. So this is a helper function that helps us to load the assets. Now it's very important that these functions are only applicable for VisionOS. So I'm gonna add a conditional check for the compiler. So if OS VisionOS, right, and if. So this code only applies for the VisionOS platform. Now here I'm gonna import Reality Kit, right, which is a basic of the VisionOS platform. I'm also gonna import this demo assets dependency, which I just created. Okay, so it's basically like a SwiftUI package, a Swift package. So we're gonna do a min actor here, and we have a function called load from Reality Composer, right? Project. Right, so here, so I'm gonna have it here named, right, entity name, which is a string. So the entity name is the name of the node from that file that you want to load. For example, this may be called the root node, or this may be called the skein meshes or whatever. So this is the entity name. We also have the the from same named, right? So this is the same name, which is actually the name of the file. This is the xxx.usdz. That's your file. So I'm gonna do that. This is an async function, so I'm gonna return an entity. So an entity is like if you program for ARKit before, it's called an SCN node, right? So this is in Reality Kit, it's called an entity. So here, what we are gonna do is we're gonna have this create an entity variable, right, which is nil at the beginning. We're gonna load this. This function can produce areas, so we can catch them. So we're gonna load this in here. So try await, and we have the entity here, right? And you use a function called named in. So the name represents a file name or the same name, and this in represents a bundle. So here I'm gonna load from my Reality Kit a content bundle, right? So if you look into this file right here, and if I click this demo assets, I see this, it has a variable called demo assets bundle, right? So I'm just gonna copy this name and paste it here. So that's basically the bundle we're going to use. Now this has areas, so I'm gonna add a catch function, right? And it's gonna print, maybe area loading assets named, we're gonna use this entity name, and from file, and scene name. All right, the scene now is loaded. So I have a root node within this file, right? So this is just the scene or the file. So I'm gonna say entity, right, equal to scene.find entity. So this is gonna find the node we want to load into the screen. So this is the entity name. All right, and at the end of this function, I'm just gonna return this entity. Awesome. So that's the code you need to load the file and the node from the Reality Kit Composer project. Now, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna show it in the user space. Now, if you go to here, right, we just have one window group. Now, in Reality Kit, we can create multiple window groups to support multiple windows, but we can also have a something called an immersive space. So if I do an immersive space, this is gonna be the content that is displayed in the user's room, in the user's 3D space. So I'm gonna choose this method with an ID, so I can turn it on or off based on what I need. So for example, this ID is called Dinosaur Park, right? And the content, I'm gonna create a new SwiftUI view, but this is a very special one because this represents something in our space, right? So I'm gonna name this my Dinosaur Park space. This is a space, not a view, right? So I'm gonna import Reality Hit here as I did before. If you are building a project for multiple targets, if you want to publish on iOS and VisionOS, you should add a check for the VisionOS platform right here. And so I'm just gonna leave some empty space here so I can add some code statements. Now what I'm gonna do here is I'm going to set up a Reality view here. So Reality view, right? And within here I have a content. So the content is more like your context of this node, where you can use that to add new nodes into the root, into the context, into the space. So what I'm gonna do is I'm first gonna load that that asset. So I'm gonna have it here probably called a var loaded dinosaur, right? And this is an entity. Okay, initially is empty value, a new. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna load this dinosaur asset we just have. So await, right? We will use the function we just wrote, load from Reality Pro project. So this name will be the name of the node. So we have the name, I think, right here, right? So you're gonna check your Reality Composer, and you're gonna so I'm gonna check my Reality Kit Composer. I'm gonna check and I find out it's called a scanned meshes. So so scanned meshes, right? So I'm gonna put this right here. So it's called a scanned meshes, right? And from thing named, so the thing is the name of the file, which is T-Rex low poly USCZ, right? So after I have this file, I'm gonna adjust the scale here, because a lot of 3D modules are having a different scale than the actual scale. So I'm gonna adjust it. So for example, 0.001. I'm not sure. I haven't checked the actual size of this model, but I will try this first. If it doesn't work, if it's too big, we'll just modify it. So we also have a position. So this is where we want to put relative to the user's position, so when the user launch the app, the user is going to be at the near the 000 point. So you want to put this. So the X represents the left side and right side of the user, right? Y represents the height, as you would imagine. So Z, if the Z is negative, it is in front of the user, further in front of the user. So if I set Z to 0, it's at the user's position. If I set it to -3, it's gonna be in the front of the user. If I set it to 3, it's on the back of the user. Okay, this is very important. This is the definition of the Z in the position in the Reality view by default. So in VisionOS, if you set the Z to be -3, it's gonna be displayed in front of the user. If you set it to 3, it's behind the user. All right, so I'm gonna set this. So it's very important that we set all of these. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna add it to our content. So do notice that there are other steps which I will go over in future videos. For example, you can add collision, you can allow user to tap on it, right, using gestures. You can, you know, add lighting, right? So there are a lot of things to do here. Okay, so I'm just gonna add it here. All right, so we're just gonna call content.add, and we're gonna call this loaded dinosaur. So I want to make sure we do have an object here, so I'm just gonna use a guard statement, and the program would return if there's an area. All right, so what we're gonna do now is we're gonna add this to our immersive space. So we're just gonna add dinosaur park space, right? Easy. Now what I also want to do is, this is hidden by default. I want to open this. So to achieve this, what I need to do is I need to have an environment variable which toggles this 3D immersive space. So in our content view, I can have a environment variable called open immersive space. This is gonna open your immersive space, you know, in the user's room. So here, I'm gonna have a button called show dinosaur. I'm gonna call open immersive space. So you need to provide an ID for that. So we're gonna provide the exact same ID we set here in the immersive space. We're gonna set it to this one. All right, now we do need the ID parameter. So open immersive space ID dinosaur park. Of course, this is async, so we need to add this to a task, and we need to use await, right? So if we run our program now, alright, so if we run this program now, you will see a button show dinosaur, and if I tap on it, here's our dinosaur. Oh, that's awesome. Nice. So now this is in the user space. You can see it's behind the sofa, I suppose. Oh, here you go. Whoa, that's a dinosaur. Oh, it's actually through the sofa. That's weird. Alright, so maybe it's on the table. So now you can see there's no animation here, but that's just some Reality Kit tricks. So we can what we can do is that we can try to apply the animation here. So apply animation. So if that, so basically you will select an animation from the list of available animations. So for example, here I'm just gonna play the first animation here, equal to this loaded dinosaur dot available animations dot first one, right? If there's an animation, I'm gonna play it. So you can call the play animation, but you can call the play animation function, and then here, so I'm gonna call the first animation. Now I do want it to be looped, so I'm gonna add a repeat right here, and then we have this transition period, so 0. So you have 0, so this 0 will be no delay between each loop, and then start pause is false. So if I run this again, so if you click on show dinosaur right now, you can see it's a walking dinosaur. Oh, that's awesome. Did we just recreate Jurassic Park? Yeah, we may be able to do that. Yeah, actually that's a good idea. I'm gonna develop that game. All right, so I think that's pretty much just oh wait, we are not done yet. We need to learn how to dismiss this immersive space. So similar to how we are presenting it using environment variable called the open immersive space, there is a function called dismiss immersive space. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna add this function right there. So called a dismiss immersive space. So what I can do is I can have a button called you know, ask dinosaur to go back you know, to the park area or whatever. So just go back, and then this is also a async function. So I'm gonna dismiss immersive space, and just this one requires no parameter. So I can you know, display this right now. I can try to run this on simulator. Now if we show dinosaur, the dinosaur is out. If I ask the dinosaur to go back, the dinosaur is not going back to the park, to the Jurassic Park. All right, so I do want to cover 2 more bonus points, So if you subscribe to my YouTube and my Twitter, or my Twitter is at MSDPro, PRO, MSDPRO. My Bluesky is msdpro.com, and my Mastodon is me at msdpro.com. So if you follow me, this will be a great motivation for me to keep publishing more and more programming videos. I always wanted to be a YouTuber, and I find this is where I get started. I just share my programming videos. So there are 2 bonus points. One bonus point is you might notice the dinosaur is not lightened up correctly. So if I show it again, there is some light from the room, but it's not lit up correctly. So what I can also do is I can add a component called a Skybox. So what this is basically you create a Skybox folder within here. So for example, indoor.skybox, and provide an image for the lighting. So for example, this is an image of the indoor environment. So as you can see right here, this is an indoor environment. I'm gonna have this function from the Apple documentation site. So I'm gonna this function allows you to provide a Skybox name, so and an intensity, and this gonna apply this lighting to the entity you provide. So I'm gonna go into this space and I'm gonna write this code. So loaded dinosaur set sunlight, and then I'm gonna have an intensity and the Skybox name. In this case, it's called indoor right here, right? I pasted this over here. So if I run this program in the simulator now, if you're gonna show this now, as you can see, it's not lit up. Oh, it's probably too much. I'll modify this to a 1. Okay, so this is how to do a lighting. So the next interesting part I want to talk about is allow you to tap on it, because who doesn't want to pet a dinosaur if you saw one, right? Maybe I don't want to do that, but I'm gonna allow the user to tap on it. Now, this is a very unique method for the VisionOS platform. So essentially, what you can do is called setting an input target. So what I can do is I can see loaded dinosaur components input target component equal to the one that allows all input types. So there are different input types, so a direct input type and an indirect input type, but we're gonna set it to all at this moment. So if I set this object becomes tappable, so user can tap on it. But now I also need to add the collision shape for this, because if you want to tap it, you need to generate a collision shape. So we basically just went over all of these to-do items. I feel like they are actually more exciting stuff, so do follow me if you want to learn more about VisionOS development. So what we're gonna do here is we're gonna generate a collision shape. So we're gonna call loaded dinosaur generate collision shape recursive true, right? And within this view here, and within this space here, just like the way we add a tap gesture to a SwiftUI view, we just add gesture tap gesture, and we target to any entity. So it means if the user tap on any of the 3D objects within our space, the app will report it to this block here in this block. So we can also target it to a specific few entities, or you can provide a query predicate for the entity where you want to the user to be able to tap on. So here we can just print tab node.name, and if you run the program now, you should be able to show the dinosaur. And if I tap on it, if you see the log on the right at the same time, oh, it taps on skin 0 of the dinosaur. Yeah. So yeah, this is for today's video. Just to summarize, we talk about how to turn a regular iOS application for a VisionOS very beautiful application with a transparent background. We talk about how to toggle on and off the glass background. We talk about how to show a 3D object in the user's space besides the regular 2D window. We talk about how to dismiss this 3D space and show the 3D space. And we also talk about the lighting and allow the user to tap on the 3D object and run some code based on that. So it's probably a long way if you want to go from here to so I made a few VisionOS applications. So one of them is Sora. So as you can see, the logic is the same. So you have the 2D view here, right? And you have the 3D object here in the user space. And then you have so of course you have multiple windows and this ornament elements. I'm gonna talk about this in my future videos. So I really want to make sure everyone can easily program for iOS and VisionOS. So please do follow me. Like I only got less than 100 subscribers. I will try my best. So do make sure to follow me and put down comment, subscribe, like, exaggerate the usual stuff, and comment on what I should make in my next video. So I'm also gonna share another of my VisionOS applications with you. So right here is my small VisionOS puzzle game. So in here you have different levels, and one of them is of course the aquarium, the museum at night, and one of them is space, and one of them is the dinosaur park. So as you can see, the T-Rex model is used here. So if the user taps on that dinosaur, they can go to the dinosaur world. So if you just give it a few seconds, here we go. So these are all in your room. And if you tap on one of these, you will be able to view its details. So of course, the tap can be accomplished by using your eye to look at it and then using your finger to tap on it. So, and also you can rotate it, with your gestures. So yeah, please do follow me on my Twitter and or Mastodon and or Misskey and or Bluesky and or YouTube, and I will share more videos on developing VisionOS apps. All right, see you.